My name is Joanna and I like making things. I like knitting and crocheting and sewing, but I don't always have the motivation to finish those projects. I start a project, I have this idea, I buy the yarn or the fabric, I start making it, make all the plans, I start making it. And then when I'm halfway through the project, I start having new ideas for new projects, and then I don't finish the ones I have. I would like to be a little bit more focused on the projects I have. This is a hobby, so it doesn't matter what you do, but I would quite like to finish more the projects I have ongoing so I can actually enjoy them and wear them and show them around. So I'm making this YouTube video to show you the projects I currently have ongoing. They're not all the projects I have in mind, not all the projects I have already wool for, but they're the ones that I started and I would quite like to finish at some point. So I'm not going to show you any sewing projects because this year I haven't been feeling very motivated to sew. I've been knitting more than anything else and sometimes crocheting. So I'm going to focus on the projects I'm currently, I would quite like to finish, knowing that I'll be working on knitting mostly and some crocheting projects, and I'm probably not going to feel very motivated to sew anytime soon. So starting with my knitting project that I'm working on the most, it's the No Frills Sweater by Petite Knit. I feel like everyone and their mother already knows this jumper. I started this maybe a couple of weeks ago, and the plan for this jumper was actually to combine black yarn with a gray mohair, and I already had the yarn for that, but then I didn't really like the effect that it gave, so I went out and bought more yarn for this jumper, which was very silly. I should have just found a project to use the other two yarns, or a couple of projects to use those two yarns, but I didn't do that. I just went out and bought more yarn, and I started this jumper at the time. So I'm at the point of the raglan increases. I already shaped the yoke, and one thing I did was, when you're shaping the yoke and doing those German short rows, you have to work back and forth. And I started having this weird lines. I don't know if you'll be able to see, probably not. I started having this weird lines, and I didn't really know what they were, what was the cause of them, until I saw Isabella from Breathing Yarn, which is a YouTube channel I love. And she mentioned that she has a different tension in the knitting and the purl rows. So she uses two different needles for the knitting stitches and the purl stitches, and I thought that was quite genius. But when I did see her video about this, it was already too late for me, and I could have frogged it all to the color, but I didn't really want it to, so I just kept going. And I think if you're a knitter, you probably look at this and you will be able to see something is wrong. But if you're not a knitter, if you're a normal person who doesn't knit, then I think it'll be quite okay. And it doesn't bother me that much that I would want to unravel everything and start again. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm at the raglan increases, as I mentioned, and hopefully I can soon split the sleeves from the body and continue the jumper. The yarn I'm using is by two Portuguese brands. I live in Portugal, I'm Portuguese, and the brands, so the base yarn I'm using is by Rosa Pomar. It's the Mondi yarn, and I love this yarn because it's 100% Portuguese. And Rosa Pomar, she's been doing an amazing job recovering Portuguese wool and working with Portuguese wool, because we have a problem in Portugal where some of the sheep breeds are going extinct because no one is using the wool to make yarn. So she's doing an amazing work on that front, and I quite like to support her project and her shop. So this is Mondi in the color 100, which is this off-white, really beautiful. And I'm pairing it with the mohair from Rosarios 4, Rosarios 4, the Aurora yarn. This is another Portuguese brand. I don't think the yarn itself is Portuguese. It doesn't say where it's made here. Maybe it will say on the website. But it is, yeah, 70% mohair, 30% silk. And it's so soft and so beautiful. I think the two of them together give this jumper this kind of really soft, luxurious feel, which I think it pairs really well with the design. When I looked at this jumper the first time, I thought it was such a like high-end looking jumper. So I really like I'm really enjoying the final result. And I think I'm gonna get a lot of wear out of this jumper. So yeah, this is the jumper I'm working on the most. However, at this point in Portugal, it's really, really hot. And I find that working with wool, even in the evenings, my hands get really sweaty. I work Portuguese style, so I put like the yarn around my neck, and that makes it, I know it's silly because it's just 2 strands of yarn, but it makes my neck quite warm. So I don't always feel like working on this jumper. So I started a different project with cotton. Okay, this project is quite strange because I don't know what this line is. I don't know what this cotton is. I'm 100% sure it's cotton, probably pure cotton, but I don't know what the weight is, and I have a lot of it. The story of this yarn is that my granddad, who passed away in 2011, he had a shop, and he was like one of those small village shops, and he sold everything from food to newspapers to haberdashery things to forks and knives and everything. And when he passed away, my mom had all these things from his shop that she had to find something to do with. So I brought this yarn from his shop. There's no labels, there's nothing. I don't know what this is. I don't know the weight, but I'm making this button-up top. I'm not following a pattern. I'm being inspired by Witter Design. I think that's how you say it. She has a couple of tops that are really beautiful. I've made some of her designs, and I'm inspiring myself in her designs to make this button-up top, sleeveless. I made a couple of swatches, and I think it's going to work out really well. I'm currently doing the rib, and then I'm going to be working on in garden stitch, precisely to avoid that pearl knit different tension problem. I'm using 2.25 millimeter needles, which is tiny, and I think this is going to take a long time. I don't think I'm going to finish in time to still wear this summer, but I'm hoping that I can finish at least until the end of the year so I can enjoy it next summer. And I'm hoping the yarn is enough. I have a big ball. Apart from this one, I have like a massive ball of this yarn. It's very hard to judge how much I'm gonna need, but my suspicion is that I'm actually still gonna have a lot at the end. Let's hope so. Let's hope that's the case. Okay, so the next project is the Zoe Curtis Granny Puff, I think that's the name, cardigan. I made one already, which I used a lot last winter, and it's this cardigan I have. And I made this in the same wool I'm making the new one, which is the Sadness Garn alpaca wool yarn, which is 65% alpaca, 35% wool, which I don't even know what it is. I just realized I don't know what animal that is. I should probably Google that. It's very soft and very beautiful. The problem with this is that I bought the wool for this cardigan and the one I'm making when I lived in the UK, and you could get Sadness Garn yarn quite easily. But now in Portugal, you can't find anywhere. You can't find it anywhere. I don't think there's anyone that sells this yarn in Portugal. So I hopefully already have the exact quantity I need. I bought the same quantity I used for this, so hopefully that'll be okay. But I'm going to be making some modifications. So this cardigan is cropped, which I love. And then the sleeves are quite balloon sleeves, which I also love. However, it makes it less wearable because I can't use it under a winter coat because it's quite thick, and then the sleeves are quite puffy. And then it also means that because it is cropped when it's very cold, which is when you should wear this because it is really warm, my back still shows sometimes and I get a little bit cold in my back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, so this is worked in full granny squares and half granny squares. So I'm going to take half granny square from the sleeve, from, you know, the width of the sleeve, and I'm going to add it to the bottom of the cardigan, which means that here I'm going to have to add a quarter of a granny square, which I don't have instructions to make. So I'm going to have to, you know, figure out how to make that, but that shouldn't be too hard to do. So hopefully the yarn will still be enough, you know, how much the amount of yarn I take from the sleeves should be enough to add to the bottom. And I'm hoping that's the case. Again, it's really warm right now, and it's too warm to work on this. I already made, I think, 7 half granny squares. They look like this. But the other day I tried to make more, and it was just, I just wasn't feeling it because it was too warm for me to work on it at the moment. But hopefully as the winter comes, I'll feel motivated to work on this and finish this still to use in the next winter, because I think it'll be a very nice cardigan to just wear in those very cold days. The next project I wanted to show you, I started it in 2017, which is crazy. I just started crocheting. I started crocheting before I started knitting, and I was really obsessed with crocheting, and I made a hat following some YouTube tutorial that I can't even find anymore, but it had this cable and front post crochet motif. So I made the hat, and then I never wore it because I don't wear hats, so I don't know what I was thinking. I don't wear hats. But then I decided to take the same motif and make blanket, a massive double bed blanket. All of this I've done in the past few years. I can't even show you the length of it, but I can post a picture of the blanket. And the problem with this is that, one, I can only work on it in the winter because I have to have it over my legs. It's way too warm right now to do it. And then one row takes about, I don't know, maybe half an hour, maybe an hour, and it's always the same. You can see the motif is really beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. I love it. And I didn't follow a pattern. I just used that, the motif from that YouTube tutorial. And then I just went with it. But it gets so boring, guys. It gets so boring. It's really hard to motivate myself to do this. You know, when I'm sitting there watching TV, I sometimes just want to work on the jumper I'm making at the moment. I don't want to be doing this. So often I do this when I don't have any other projects, and I haven't, you know, when I'm in between projects, which is not often. So I can't promise to finish this by the end of the year, but it's okay. It's that project that I'll keep doing. One day it'll be finished. One day I can put it over my bed or in the sofa, and I can just cozy up underneath it. But right now, you know, it's going to be a long, I know it's going to be a long time. I'm working this It's an acrylic yarn. I don't even know the name of it. I have loads of it there. I think I rolled it up all in cakes, so I don't even know. I think it might be a paint box yarn. When I started crocheting and knitting, I didn't have much money, so all I bought was acrylic yarns, which there's nothing wrong with that. But now I like to make things with like synthetic yarns. But it's okay, I'll just keep doing this with the yarn I have. I started making a border as well, which I don't know if you can see. I even started making a border with double crochets just to see how it would look, and I think it's gonna look super, super nice when I finish. But I know that's gonna be many years still to go. So the next project and final project is quite a special one, and it has a story behind it. I'm quite a festival goer and a concert goer since I was a teenager. And when I was about 13, there was a Portuguese channel that showed the Glastonbury Festival. If you don't know, the Glastonbury Festival happens most years in Somerset in England, and it's probably the biggest festival in the world. There's 200,000 people going every year, and it's really hard to get a ticket these days because there's probably like 2 million people trying for tickets every year, and it's kind of like a queuing system that you have to beat to get a ticket. And I watched the festival since I was a kid, and I always thought one day I'll make it, one day I'm going to this festival. And I was so in love with the idea of going to Glastonbury. And then in 2019, I went with some friends. I had the time of my life. It was exactly what I wanted it to be. It's such a beautiful festival with loads of different spaces. It's family friendly, etc. And then when I came back, I thought I have to go again. You know, this is a festival I want to go, and for the rest of my days I want to go. And then I tried for tickets for 2020, and I was lucky again, and I got tickets. The problem is in 2020 there was a pandemic, so they didn't do it the festival, and whoever had tickets for 2020 could keep them for the next edition, which happened in 2022. So in 2021 I got inspired to make this Glastonbury jumper, which was quite a crazy idea. I took 2 pictures from like landscapes of the festival. So one was the pyramid stage, which is the main stage of the festival, and the other one was kind of like this landscape of the ribbon tower and all these different tents in the festival. And I open Excel, and from this Excel spreadsheets I started coloring cells and I made the 2 landscapes into Excel spreadsheets into like this scheme I could follow for a knitted jumper. And I started making it, and I never done color work before, so this is quite insane. I'm sure I broke all the rules of color work while doing this, but this is the progress. So this is the front of the jumper, which is the pyramid stage, and I'm getting to the sky now. And this is the back, which is not as easy to see, but it's that landscape I mentioned. And you don't want to, like, the inside is absolutely insane. I'm trying to weave in the ends as I go along, but as I say, I'm probably breaking all the color work rules. The philosophy with this jumper is that it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be whimsical and joyful. That's it. Because I have no intention of making a perfect jumper. It's just, the idea is to have this very nice keepsake from you know, at least that one time I went to the festival. Anyway, I was telling you the story of what happened with the 2020 ticket. The next edition was 2022, and I had the ticket from 2020, I could go. And 10 days before the festival, I broke my leg and I needed major surgery. So I didn't make it to the festival. I was absolutely gutted. I know, first world problems. But then since then, I haven't had the luck to get tickets again. And together with that, I haven't had the motivation to finish my jumper. I want to finish it. I want to finish it until the end of this year. If I never get tickets again, you know, that's okay. I can accept that. But I would love to finish this jumper and have a jumper from, you know, with this kind of beautiful place I love represented in it. If I was starting this today, I started this when I hadn't been knitting for that long. I don't even know if I'd made a jumper before. So I started bottom up, from the bottom. And if I was doing it today, I would have started from the top and do a raglan style jumper, so I could do the increases. And now I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm probably gonna do just like square panels and then do like a collar, a ribbon collar at the top, and it's gonna have a drop shoulder because of that, which is not ideal. But as I said, this is not meant to be a perfect jumper. It's meant to be a whimsical and joyful jumper. And this, I think, will be quite a nice YouTube video to do, finishing this jumper and wearing it. And maybe I'll get tickets for next year. I don't know. But yeah, I think they should give me a ticket. Just because of all this work, they should give me a ticket. But anyway, this is the final project I have to show you. As I said before, I have many other projects on my mind. I have quite a bit of yarn already dedicated to projects I want to do. It's probably going to change the plans for those jumpers or those garments. I don't know. But I think until at the end of the year, I would like to finish these projects, except for the blanket, which I know it's unrealistic to think I'm going to finish. If you like to see more from me, if you like to see other projects, if you like to see other ideas I have for videos, please subscribe. I'm new here. Give me a like, leave me a comment, and be nice, please. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.